Welcome back to SwitchCorner. Today we're going to be taking a look at my favourite deals across the Switch eShops in the US, Canada, UK, EU and Australia. You'll find this video here every single Saturday on the channel, and with this one any price goes. If you do want the cheaper side of the eShop, I say check out our Thursday edition where we stick to games that are exclusively under $10 or your local currency. As always then, today we do have two winners to announce, one $10 eShop gift card and then one code for Ori and The Will of the Wisps. We'll be announcing those winners as we do go through the video today. If you want to enter this week to win one of two $10 eShop gift cards, as always it's simple, just drop a comment down below and the winners, they'll be announced in next Saturday's episode. So with that luck, hit subscribe if you love the Switch as much as we all do here, join our growing family and let's get started. So it's a big week, close to 20 games to take you through today, so let's start with a big one as well. Journey to the Savage Planet, it's rocking 30% off, the lowest price ever, and I gotta say it's a fantastic game. It launched actually right around the time Outer Worlds dropped on the Switch, and if that was an example of how to not do a port, this would be closer to, how to do a port. This is a really unique game though, and you're basically getting here like a first person action exploration title with some minor combat, but it's more about finding, that next item or upgrade that gives you access to the next location. It's basically in design a first person Metroidvania almost, and I loved it. It's not perfect, a few performance hiccups every so often, the occasional frame rate drop, but nothing that should impact your experience too much. Really enjoyed it myself, the price was good to begin with, and now it is even better. Sci-fi fans, first person fans, go and take a look at this one. So on the topic of first person shooters, actually the Metro collection is back with both 2033 and Last Light dropping to an all-time new low with a real nice 45% off. These games run and look incredible on the Switch, and not only should first person shooter fans pick these up, but those that just like a good story driven experience or stealth. Metro has this incredible system basically that just lets you play the way you want to play, and it also helps, it's got some really good difficulty options. Telling the story of a post-apocalyptic future though, in this world the human race in Moscow now lives underground in metro stations, and you'll be out on a few different missions across the two games. Your mission in the first game, reach the remaining civilization and warn them of an incoming threat, while the second, you're going to be fighting against a civil war. Incredible games, and to give you an idea of how the two, differ, the first game's darker, more claustrophobic, and for sure like a slower burn. The second one, it dials up the gunplay and it gives you some seriously bigger locations to traverse. This price is an absolute steal for these games though, and I would give them a badge of just absolute classics. So October is here, meaning one thing, Halloween, and who doesn't love a collection of horror games to play through this month? One of my favourites, it's gotta be Darkwood, and while it's not quite, the lowest price we've ever seen, it's close enough for a game that's incredibly tense, as it combines like this horror setting with then like survival gameplay. Going into this one, a top-down view on the genre, I didn't think it could be creepy, basically, 2D characters running around, and I was so very wrong. The imagery though is dark and tense. The gameplay, it's typical survival, crafting, preparing traps, building a hideout. The day and night cycle this game features, it's edge of your seat stuff as you're rushing to get your goals completed before dark hits. Random generation, it means endless options, and then there's even leveling up. It allows you to build the character you want. But the best thing about this one, absolutely over anything else, there's no jump scares. This horror, it relies on intensity, and that to me is always a hell of a lot scarier. With 50% off, it's an absolute steal. Okay, so while we are on the more like budget side of things, Iconoclast, and this is sadly US Canada only right now, but it's a new all-time low and it's a hell of a Metroidvania. So yeah, here expect some solid 2D platforming and combat where you'll basically need to, grab parts and upgrades to proceed to that next section. But the visuals are stunning in this seriously colourful world, and I would also say it kind of breaks away from the typical Metroidvania in just some areas. The maps not quite as complicated or interconnected as you may expect. Overall though, boss encounters, great stuff. The puzzles, they ramp in difficulty nicely as you progress, and then there's multiple difficulty options as well, just meaning, reasons to go back, and that is always a good thing. It is a fun ride, and the story, it's one of a mechanic by the name of Robin out to uncover the secrets of a dying planet, and it just gets this just the right balance between high stakes personal, and then still a tiny bit epic. A new all-time low here though, with it offering 60% off. Race fans now, Grip Digital Deluxe Edition. I really like this one. It's more of a fast-paced arcade kind of racer. You gotta look for the right thing here though. The base game Grip is not on sale weirdly, but this digital deluxe version is coming in with a huge 70% off, which you can't find on the Nintendo website weirdly. You have to actually go directly through the eShop on your Switch. This deluxe edition though, it gives you the game and then the garage and vehicle customization DLC packs. So basically 5 cheap DLCs that offer a few car skins. This one though, it's a futuristic racer where they even added like anti-grav vehicles in a recent update, and yeah, it's pretty like badass. This deluxe edition though, it gives you the game and then the garage and vehicle customization DLC. That's basically like 5 cheap DLCs that offer a few car skins. This one though, it's a futuristic racer where they even added anti-grav vehicles in a recent update. Great stuff though, even with the very like occasional performance drop. Vehicular combat on the Switch, I mean, to be honest, it hasn't got much competition right now. And here you're going to get like 29 tracks across 4 exotic planets, power-ups, weapons, a single-player campaign, time trials, a ton of vehicles. It even has online, but I will say I don't see too many on it. Maybe this sale though will give it a bit of a boost, or maybe you can talk some friends into picking it up alongside you. Another 2 game sale now, Saints Row the 3rd and Saints Row 4 re-elected, both dropping into the sale. The 3rd entry is offering 55% off, that makes it the lowest price ever. Saints Row has always, to me, been a more comedic and like arcade take on the GTA formula, and this is probably the better game of the 2 entries on sale, at least for me. In this one, you're taking the fight to the Syndicate, who want to knock you down from, you know, your power. In this world, the Saints are not only the gang of all gangs now, but also a household name thanks to things like merch and all sorts of like other crazy goodies. The Syndicate, they don't like this though, they're basically coming for your power. The 4th entry takes what was already out there and eccentric and dials it all up to 11 by basically introducing aliens and giving you superpowers. Re-elected is still fun, don't get me wrong, I just personally prefer the more grounded reality of the 3rd game rather than, you know, like super speed, super jumps and the like. Re-elected though, it's offering a slightly lower discount with 40% off, but that makes sense given the fact it is a newer game. Either way though, look, great prices for 2 decent ports, and honestly as old games, these prices now feel a lot more fair and comparable to pricing you're going to find on other consoles. Alright, so before our first winner, a small discount for you now, but still worth a shout out. I featured this in my Switch Gems series this week, and yeah, Project Warlock with 10% off. Basically, it's returning to its launch price. With such a low discount, I'm keeping this quick. If you like old school shooters, think like Doom, this is the game for you. It's not saving you much with this discount, but I'll take the excuse to give it a shout out if you like, you know, your retro shooters. So our first winner then, and this is for a $10 eShop gift card, it's going to Miroslav R, who's considering picking up Dragon Quest to play alongside their kids. Not a bad idea, but I promise you it's an amazing game that anyone who just enjoys an RPG should absolutely pick up. Congrats to Miroslav, drop me an email, you'll find it in the description down below. Second winner, that's coming up later in the video, that is for the big prize, you know, the code for Ori and The Will of the Wisps. But first, let's cover a couple more games. Okay, so now let's talk my pickups of the week. As always, don't own them or I haven't beaten them, so I can't necessarily recommend them. But maybe you'll want to, of course, like join me for the ride. This week I'm picking up 2. First, Muse Dash. I'm a sucker for a rhythm game. I missed this in the last sale, so I'm finally going to be grabbing it. Now it's offering a solid 25% off. With this one, the trailer, it's just the right side of insane that it's for me, offering over 90 tracks, about as many colours as possible on a single screen, and what seems to be almost like a horizontal shmup style to its like rhythm gameplay. You'll basically hit the notes while moving your character up and down on the left hand side of the screen. Then my second pickup, we got 1971 Project Helios. It seems to have got decent reviews. It's a turn-based strategy title. I'm a big fan of the genre and I'm actually kind of coming around to playing them more and more on my Switch. Basically that's because the portability factor of it all, it's just really winning me over. This one though, you're on the hunt for a missing individual with a team of like 8 individuals across a frozen world. Trailer looks great, screenshots look great. Now I'm just curious to see how that performance is, but hopefully it's solid, and yeah, 30% discount, it was just enough to get me on board at its all-time new low. So I just want to quick fire 2 US exclusives now before we do get to the second winner. Last week the UK of course got Dragon Quest, which is incredible, and while the US still hasn't got that, we are getting at least 2 big ones that are going to be available for the next 48 hours. First, Catherine Full Body Edition, an incredible, I'd say adult themed puzzle game which combines story driven sequences with incredible puzzling. You'll basically be climbing a tower of blocks to escape a force that is killing folks in their sleep. It's an all-time favourite game of mine personally and well worth a look. I do have a full review over on the channel, but 30% off for this game is an absolute must buy. Then The Witcher 3 back to its all-time new low with 30% off again, and I don't think we're going to see it much lower. Not only a masterpiece action role-playing adventure, one of the best ports yet on the console as well. This game couldn't be more epic, with a huge world to explore, tons of missions, characters to meet, and all of the DLC. It's an absolute must-own for everybody out there. Just do know with Witcher 3, space on that SD card will be a factor as it comes in at a monster 31.5 gig. So our second winner now then for the Ori and The Will of the Wisps code, it's going to Coinsy. Coinsy backed up Untitled Goose Game like a lot of people in the comments, and with good reason honestly. Incredible game which is still on sale right now, and that is the first sale in 12 months. Congrats though Coinsy, drop me an email so I can get this Ori code to you. Thanks as always then to everyone that commented last week, and remember to drop a comment down below to enter for a chance to win this week. Now our final 3 games of the week, not quite the lowest this first one, but maybe a couple of dollars different, so it's getting a shout out. Azure Striker GUNVOLT Strike Pack. Haven't seen this on sale since last year. Mega Man fans, buy this immediately. This is a 2D side-scrolling action platformer and the pace is incredible. You'll be flying all over the place just taking down foes. This was actually a 3DS game originally, but it's had the full Switch treatment here. We're getting enhanced graphics, a 60 frames per second boost, upgraded UI, all the DLC, and then even some extra like vocal tracks for good measure. This series is, in my opinion, underappreciated, and while it may seem expensive, more than worth the price of entry. There's a ton of content here to keep you busy. I think for the main campaign, you're looking at like a good 10 hours. Our penultimate game of the week then, Ashe: God's Redemption, and this is for you Banner Saga fans out there because it literally directly ripped off the visual style. There's no question about that, but you know what? They chose their influences wisely because it looks absolutely stunning in all its like hand-drawn glory. This is part story-driven adventure, part turn-based strategy, as you'll be operating on like small grid-based warfields. There's even some like map management as well, meaning you'll choose where you're heading next. Really like the story though and the characters, and while it has a tiny bit of let's say like slowdown in the middle, I really enjoyed my time with this one, and I reviewed it over on the channel if you do want to, you know, see something that's a little bit more in depth. But if you like the look of this one, if you like Banner Saga, or if you like turn-based strategy, it might well be worth a pickup. Our final game of the week then, and my favourite deal easily, Killer Queen Black. It's rocking a monster 90% off. This one sadly is only US and Canada, so you may want to region hop to pick this one up because the sale is just insane. It's an interesting game though, starting life in the arcade with huge cabinets for 8 players, but what may seem complicated at first is absolutely addictive. You're basically getting a strategic team-based platformer where you each take on a role and you can win in multiple ways. Like you could wipe out the enemy's queen with your queen, you could ride on a slow-ass snail to a finish line, or you can pick up and collect berries and hoard them. The skill isn't always here about being the fastest or, you know, killing your enemies, but understanding what your character's capabilities are while keeping an eye on the other team. This has local play for up to 8 players, but the best thing, cross-platform with the PC for online multiplayer. With multiple play modes though, scores to chase, and a generally addictive formula, this is an absolute must-buy from me. It's easily my pick of the week. It is just so cheap, especially if you can get a group of friends to jump on board as well, because this, like any online multiplayer, is best experienced when you can like actually directly talk to someone. And that is it, another week down. Will you be adding anything new to your collection? It's been a great week for discounts with just some monster games in this video, and even in our like Thursday edition where everything is sub $10. Some of the games there I haven't seen in a long time, so if you haven't checked that out already, head there next. Congrats again then to our winners this week, and thank you to everyone who commented. Remember to do that same thing again this week for your chance to win. Then a shout out to the patrons of the channel who are just going above and beyond to support SwitchCorner. Truly is appreciated, so thank you all so much. We actually had 2 new people join us in these last 2 days, so again a big thank you. If you want to check it out for yourself, I have linked it in the video description down below. Finally then, like, hit subscribe if you love the Switch as much as we all do here. Join our growing family, and I'll see you all on the next video. Thanks everyone.